mean, he told me a lot of good things on it too. And he actually saved me from making a big mistake because I was about to buy another property. I had it under contract and I had my taxes, Detroit city taxes are a lot higher than most people think. So I had it wrong. So my numbers were a little off and it wouldn't have.
You mean it's not $100?
Right?
They're not $100? A $5,000 property is $100. Come on,
right? That's what you would think. And, and that's what around, I think, where my budget was. And he was like, nope, you're going to need to be more. And he showed me property tax estimator and we started digging into things. So I backed out of that deal, looked at a bunch of other houses, but that's just another example of, you got to find people that are doing what you want to do.
To do better in their business, but I also have to
I don't know how to do it.
Hey, everyone out there in YouTube land and our Facebook group, Metro Detroit Off Market Real Estate Group. I also have this on my personal page and on Randy Stedwell in Facebook. We had some technical issues with StreamYard going straight to the Facebook group. So if you are seeing this after the fact from the Facebook group, I apologize, but best viewed on YouTube. It helps our algorithm, and you can always see the replay there. Now, if we always have the chat off to the side, ask any questions that you do have. When we are live, we will see them, and I can bring them up on screen. If you're not seeing this live, ask your questions in the chat, and I'll get to them. I promise you that. So, without further ado, we have Brett Isett. And he is a firefighter EMT and basically a first responder. I love having these guys on here, and I love seeing these success stories about how people are, getting on the right track for their future. We all know this is not a get rich quick scheme. Real estate is not get rich quick. It is a get rich over time. So I love that. And he's here to tell his story about his first investment property and how he got into it, what made him choose getting into where he's at, so on and so forth. Come join us for the rest of this show to see his story. Brett, how you doing today?
Good, Randy. How's it going?
I'm doing all right. So I know it's a lot coming on here. You're like, when we first talked, you're like, I don't really have anything to say. And I'm like, dude, just tell your story and somebody will get something out of it. That I promise you. Oh, so, we're all here we want to learn from the mistakes you made so we don't make them. So,
right. There's been a couple so far, that's for sure.
That's good. At least good for us anyways, not for you. But at least you learn from it, right?
Yeah. Every time.
That's one thing is we always, any mistake that we have, it's just a learning lesson. That's all it is. So, so tell me how you first got started in real estate and how did you come across rentals or investing? Like, you don't come out of the womb just knowing about real estate, do you? So,
no.
So tell me how you even thought about it.
So best friend of mine, my buddy Josh, he got into it a number of years ago and started flipping properties, making good money. Then he started renting them out. And, I seen the success he was having and he was telling me all about it. You got to get into this. I mean, it's a lot, it's overwhelming, but like it's the future. It's a good place to put your money, because both of us were trying to get into the mindset that we wanted more than, the average person, provide more for our families, have, just finer things in life, freedom, options for our family. So, after seeing him do a number of projects, I told him I'm ready to get into it. Like, give me 3 books and I'll start there, and I read these 3 books, couldn't
Okay.
really ignore the potential after that. So I just kind of, became enthralled in the whole process and started listening to podcasts every day. And eventually, I decided that I wanted to get my own rentals. And, I wrote it down. What was it? July 29th, 2023. I wrote it down that date of 22. And I said, by that date, like, I want to have my first property, because it was just a
Okay.
lot to me, and I didn't meet that goal. I was a number of months after that, but that's when I started really listening to the podcast and reaching out to people, going to seminars, trying to figure out all the different financing strategies on how I was going to do it,
Mm-hmm.
and there's one thing led to the next. And, I decided on my financing, and I just started looking at properties. I got the money ready to go, and I
Okay.
just started looking, and, I looked at a lot of properties and I finally
So,
found the one.
so what was the name of the book that you read to get into it?
Which one? The Burr, it was the Burr Method,
The
by
Burr Method.
David Green. Yeah. The Burr
Awesome.
book.
Awesome book,
Yep.
by the way. I do recommend doing it.
Yep.
Now, not in every situation the Burr Method works. Okay.
Right.
So you got to look at that, whether it works for your situation or not. But so how did you go about securing financing if, you know, like you wanted to do the Burr Method? So how did you think about securing
Mhm.
finance? What did you do?
I mean, my first one's really not not even the Burr Method. Like, I started to, decided I want something more turnkey or kind of like a lighter rehab.
Mm-hmm.
And, I just decided that I was going to do a HELOC and take a HELOC out on my property, on my primary,
Mm-hmm.
and use that with the interest only payments and, work overtime. And it kind of would allow me to get the property before putting a large chunk down that I've saved up over time. So
Okay.
I'm in that right now. And so far it's going good. My numbers could be better after some unexpected expenses popped up, but I'm still in a good place as of now. And I know a lot
And
more for the next one.
awesome. And we'll talk about that in a few minutes here. So what I wanted to kind of go back a little bit is you started on like, what did you think about when you first got in? Did it immediately open your eyes to what's possible in real estate, or did you have to read it a couple times or read a couple other books to kind of get it?
Yeah, it was a number of things really. Like, I started reading the books, and I wanted to reach out. I was sitting at the firehouse one day reading a book, and, a guy walks by and he's like, I got a buddy with, I think he's got like 10 or 20 rentals. You should reach out to him. So I was like, okay. He gave me his number. I reached out to
Mhm.
him. I take him out for coffee. He's got a wholesaling company. So, I hit it off with him, and, I started working with him, cold calling and learning, and going on appointments
Mhm.
with them, and, learning how to do the numbers and just throwing
Mhm.
myself out there. It was very uncomfortable. It still is, because it's all still new, but, I
Yep.
started doing that and going to real estate seminars. And then it's my 2 partners, Brandon and Tio. And Brandon, I wanted to get into a different, like a Section 8 kind of type. I started looking out. So he goes, hey, this Jay Peltier, you should reach out to him. I took him out to lunch, and, talked to him, and I still talk to him. And I went to the real estate the other day. He introduced me to you. You never know. It
Yep.
can come from a conversation, right? You got to get
You
out
would
there.
never know.
You got
And
to
by the
put
way,
yourself out.
if any of you haven't listened to it, a few episodes ago, we did interview Jay Peltier about Section 8 housing. So go check out the replay. I believe it was either 29 or 30. I can't remember exactly which, but episode number 29 or 30. Check out Jay Peltier. Awesome guy.
Great
And
episode.
everybody I come across, like, he's just very helpful.
Yeah,
So,
he's been
um,
amazing help so far.
yeah, so please do check that out. Reach out to him as well. And so when you took him out to lunch, what did he sell you on Section 8? Did he, like, what did he tell you to kind of think about Section 8?
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, he told me a lot of good things on it too, and he actually saved me from making a big mistake, because I was about to buy another property. I had it under contract, and I had my taxes. Detroit city taxes are a lot higher than most people think. So I had it
Right.
wrong. So my numbers were a little off, and it wouldn't have.
You
I
mean
wouldn't have
it's
been
not
on the book,
$100?
right?
You mean
That's
they're
what
not
you think,
$100? A
That's what,
$5,000 property is $100. Come on, you
right?
know?
That's what you would think, and and that's what around I think where my budget was. And he was like, "Nope, you're gonna need to be more." And he showed me property tax estimator, and we started digging
Yep.
into things. So I backed out of that deal, looked at a bunch of other houses, and but that's just another example of, you got to find people that are doing what you want to do. And
You
for
have to
so long,
you have to
yeah,
surround yourself with good people
yeah,
that's going to be open and honest with you. That's going to help you
yes,
along the way,
hmm,
you know? So sorry,
yeah.
go ahead.
No, you're good. No,
Yeah.
I was just going off of that. For so long I was
Yeah.
just looking at properties, and you know, I had an idea what I wanted to do, but I
And
wasn't
what
quite sure.
changed when you were looking at properties before you met, say, Jay, or talked with some of these people? And what afterwards? What are you looking at differently now? Are you running is it just the tax thing? Was it something else?
It's that, and like before, you'll walk in and okay, the kitchen's done up real nice. So you think, okay,
Hmm.
this house is awesome. The kitchen's really good and this looks good. But then you got to look into the deeper things, the electrical panel, the wiring in the basement ceiling, the
Hmm.
plumbing, the roof, the foundation, and more, the bigger expense, and a lot of the little things like this house that I bought. I'm glad I bought it. It felt right when I did buy it, but I was like,
Hmm.
oh, there's a lot of little things, and those little things added up really, really quick. And then you had unexpected expenses come up. So you gotta, just really give yourself a good idea. And I think I did. I looked at a lot of houses, so I was pretty much out of patience. I'm like, this is the one. It
Yeah.
feels right. I'm going for it. And you just gotta pull the trigger at some point, right? Things are gonna happen. So I just had to
Yep.
do that, and then I got my buddy working on it, and he's telling me, hey man, you got water pouring into your electrical panel. I'm like, Jesus, that's something I didn't plan on. So I had to have that fixed up, and I thought the furnace was in better shape than it was. I'm going to be putting in a new furnace, and there's some other issues, and you get into the nitty gritty of it, and if you buy a house that's half rehabbed or 3/4 turnkey, then you're finding a lot more imperfections, so just,
Let, let's add a little water to that sparky over there.
yeah, exactly. Yep. Like you really, really got to look deep into the little imperfections and see how much money you really are going to have to put in this house, and I gave myself a big gap, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, that's
just,
awesome. So it sounds like you learned a few lessons by jumping into this one. And even though it wasn't like, obviously we can't figure out every situation when we first walk through a property. We
mhm,
don't know everything that's going to happen on that property. And that's one of the reasons I tell people when you're figuring out your renovation budget, take about 10 to 15% depending on the house, the size of the budget, things like that. And I put it aside and I call it an oh shit fund.
mhm. That's a good
Okay.
word for it.
It's an oh
Good.
shit fund. It's
Yeah.
oh shit, I did not see that. You know,
It's exactly what it's going to be for too.
exactly. So and you just never know what's gonna happen, you
Yep.
know. Like for instance, the water in the in the electrical
Yeah.
bit,
Yep. And
it doesn't work that way. But
exactly.
if you prepare a little bit for the unexpected, when it happens, it's not that big of a hit.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and that's where experience comes in. Now you're going to look at this for your next property and you're like, okay, I got to check this, and this,
Yes. Oh yeah. The next one
you know,
I'm gonna be good.
right.
Yeah,
And,
I'm still
and,
gonna learn a lot more then too. But
and this is what's funny about it. You're going to think that you checked everything off the box on the next one and you're going to be perfect. And
more
then
shit's
something
gonna happen.
else is going to happen.
Hmm. But
And
it's
then you're
part of
going
the
to
game,
learn
right?
from that. So
Exactly.
exactly, it's just all part of the game.
Yep.
We can't see beyond the walls. We can only see the evidence.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah. Yep.
so
Yeah.
um,
And I worked hard. Like on getting into the right mindset before this, like really committing, like this is what I'm going to do. It doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter how long it takes. This is the goal. I'm going to meet it. And that's what I'm doing, So,
Yeah.
You get overwhelmed. You have all these things to do. I have a list of all these things, and you just kind of got to slow down and just, one thing at a time, just keep knocking them out. And
Now, how long have you been a firefighter or an EMT, all of that?
about 10 years now, 8 years with Clinton Township. I was part-time at a part-time fire department before that for a couple of years. And then I worked at on the ambulance for 3 years before or during that time while I was part-time too. But I've been with the Clinton Township firefighter or fire department for about 8 years now.
So you work hard to do all this, right? There's a lot of chance for overtime possibly.
Oh yeah, lots of overtime. I mean, I'm working more now because now I have,
you have something to put it towards.
Yeah, and I always have. I mean, I got 2 kids. Things add up quick, right?
Oh my God.
So
it's a little bit here. How old are your kids?
They're 4 and 2, almost 5
4
and
2.
2.5. Yeah.
So when they start school, there's always going to be something every other day. They're coming out with something here. I got to pay this. I got to get this. It's picture day. It's this. It's and the wife or the mother is going to be, we got to have the best package. We got to have this. We got to have that. And
luckily we're all on the same page. We got a good thing going. It's like
that's awesome.
There's.
But
everything. I just want to give
schools brainwash them to they want this, they want that, and you and your wife got to be on that same page, man.
Yeah. Once the sports come in, we were at my daughter's first soccer game or soccer practice the other day. We had the lawn chairs. We're like, holy crap! Like we're at this point, and things are going to add up. That's the whole reason I'm doing this is so that everything's not so tight. This is a long-term strategy, but I'm going to just reinvest everything that I make on these, into the next to try to scale as quickly as possible. But, there's no ceiling on what, I could be opening up a type of business throughout this, and it all depends. There's no ceiling really for
most
what's
definitely
possible.
So here's a question. Before you got into this, I'm assuming, are you married?
Yes.
Or engaged?
Yep. Married.
Okay.
Yep.
So when you came across this, did you have the conversation with your wife, or did you just go full out and do this?
Oh no. I told her what we made a big,
like, how did you get her on board? And that's what a lot of people don't understand is like, you learn all this as a man, we're like, gung ho, we want to do this. But if you don't get that other person involved, it's going to be hell on wheels for you.
Yes. And that's exactly it. Yeah. And we said that too. We're not doing anything big without being on the same page. And it took a little bit to get her on board, but now she's very supportive. She's got my back the whole way. So,
that's
it's a
awesome.
lot, but that's a very important thing is to be on the same page and have your family back.
Does she help out with anything with the house or trying to find it, or maybe is she hunting for deals for you?
No, I'm doing all that. I mean, she works full time too. And we got the kids. She's got her hands full too. So this is like my baby, right? This is
got it. Okay.
I'm handling all this.
That's awesome though.
She gets it. And when I have to be gone, like, they're going somewhere and, being a present father and is the most important thing in the husband. So, but sometimes, they're going somewhere and I got to go work on the house. I got to get things done. No one's going to do it, so, okay.
As long as she's understanding that the sacrifice now, and hopefully the kids understand this, the sacrifice now will set you up to be with them longer later on.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it takes me, this is taking me a little longer too, because I am making sure I'm present with them too around now. Like I'm not just gone because I work 24-hour shifts, so I'm gone a lot already, but that's, I'm making sure that I'm doing the tasks, I'm making the calls, I'm doing the work I can do on the house. I'm not the handiest guy, so I'm doing everything that I can do. And then I'm, having other people complete the tasks that I'm not able to do. So it's just, it's been a whole learning experience, just getting quotes for things, learning the right pricing on everything, making calls, insurance, just how you like this. There's so much that goes into it, and you really just gotta go. You just gotta make a decision. This is what I'm going to do. I like to write down deadlines, even if you don't meet them, Like I wanted my house by January 29th, 23, and I got it in March, like way past, but it is what it is. I looked at houses, I went under contract, and things went wrong with 2 other houses, and it's all part of it, right? And it's been all of a story.
You learn everything. You learn something from every one of those possibilities. Every one that you got under contract, even though you had to fall out, you learn what to look for again.
Absolutely.
And then you looked in there. Everybody thinks that we're going to lose thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars if we make the wrong decision. And the thing is that if you follow the right steps, okay, what I mean by that is this is the one business that you can royally fuck up. And I'm glad I'm just on YouTube and I could say that, but you can royally fuck it up and still come out either break even or making money.
Yes. Yeah.
The difference is either holding it a little bit longer so you cash flow. Okay.
Yep.
Or you wait for the next person, the better buy that comes in,
the market will change and maybe it'll make sense to sell here, and maybe you'll be in a better place. Like, and it's cyclical, right? Like things are it's not going to be in the same spot. So you need to learn how it works, right? It took me a very long time to even learn the whole language of real estate, and reading books, reading them twice over, listening to podcasts, Bigger Pockets and Wholesaling Inc. and all kinds of stuff just to get it. And now I understand it a lot more, but I'm still a student of the game, and I always will be, because you always have more to learn, and I'll have more to learn on the next property and the next one after that. But, you got to do things to get your mind right to be able to sustain the journey. I feel like, so fitness has been huge for me, doing things that are hard so that when things come up, you're not super overwhelmed because you have the confidence in yourself that you're going to be able to handle it. Like, I know I'll make this property work. So more shit's going to go wrong. It's going to suck, but I'll handle it. I'll take care of whatever is thrown at me.
And I think that's the thing is that the more you put yourself out there, the more you have conversations to talk with people, the more confidence you'll grow. Okay. Yep. You had confidence through fitness because that was something, and a lot of people get that. Not knocking that, but you can get confidence other ways if you're not a fitness person. If you, by repetition, I tell people in cold calling, you have to talk with 200 people, meaningful conversations. This is not my statistic. I stole that from Brent Daniels and Wholesaling Inc.
Yeah, yep.
All right. So you got to have 200 meaningful conversations before you get one deal.
Absolutely.
Okay. When you're cold calling.
And working for, Transcend Homes is the company, the wholesaling company that I'm with. And, when I started cold calling, it was my heart rate's up, like you sound like a machine, and at first no one's gonna, and then you keep going and going, and, you get more comfortable. You start going on appointments, you start talking with people, you get houses under contract, you go further on the line, but it's just, you just got to just go, and you got to realize it's going to take a lot longer than you think it's going to take. It's going to take more work than you think. It's going to be uncomfortable, but like you said, just get those reps in, with talking to people. You just have to do always the thing that you don't want to do, mostly, basically.
Most definitely.
Once a day that I would pray for you, I'd go and misbehave just so you'd notice too. Sneaking looks up and down from across the room, and damn, what a hell of a view.